Well, some local leaders are disappointed with the Safer at Home order. Our Kelly Kennedy has more from Madison County.
Madison County leaders say when it comes to flattening the curve here, we're doing a good job. Commission Chairman Dell Strong says he was hoping for a more lenient reopening.
The governor is making a decision based on all of Alabama. Some counties are not doing as well as we are, and especially some that are as close as 40 miles away from Madison County. But I do believe that Madison County has performed exceptional, and that is why we are in the position that we were hoping for much more today.
Leaders say it's important to follow the new Safer at Home guidelines, as there is still some concern for a spike in cases if we reopen too fast.
We're one large gathering event away from allowing this virus to pick up steam.
All county employees will go back to work this Friday. They will finalize plans to reopen to the public next week.
New safety measures at county locations will include requiring cloth face coverings, hand sanitizing, continued social distancing, and respectively covering your cough and sneeze.
Because elective surgeries can resume under the new order, we will likely see more testing being done.
As we open up our elective procedures, we're taking well people who are having a procedure that's not as time sensitive, and if they need to stay in the hospital, we want them to be in an area where we have the best information that everyone is tested negative. So you will see the beginnings of some hospital testing.
Health officials say we can expect hospitals to avoid using waiting rooms as more people start to come in.
More and more you will see your healthcare providers having waiting in your car.
Officials continue to encourage people who feel sick to stay home and seek care if needed. Putting the Valley first, Kelly Kennedy, WZDX News.